Waking up early has long been associated with success, self-discipline, and personal transformation. They move with. Napoleon Hill emphasized the importance of this habit, not just as a scheduling strategy, but as a foundational tool for mastering one's inner world. They move with. Early rising is a deliberate act of self-discipline, one that sends a strong message to the subconscious minding. They move with. I am in control. It's a signal that you're choosing action over comfort, intention over laziness, and self-mastery over self-indulgence. They move with. When the alarm clock rings in the early morning hours and a person resists the urge to hit the snooze button, they are practicing discipline in one of its purest forms. The decision to rise early, even when the body would prefer rest, builds mental toughness. They move with. It conditions the mind to obey rather than control. Over time, this repeated act of self-control shapes character. They move with. It reinforces the belief that success isn't about doing what feels good in the moment. They move with, but about doing what is necessary, even when it's uncomfortable. Napoleon Hill often spoke of definiteness of purpose and control over one's mind as keys to success. Waking up early is an act that strengthens both. They move with. It's not simply about having more time, although that's a benefit. It's about proving to yourself that you can do hard things, that you can override the inner voice that says, just a few more minutes. Every time you win that small battle, you become mentally stronger. They move with. You reinforce the identity of a person who acts deliberately and with discipline. There is also a deeper psychological benefit at play. They move with. When you wake up early and follow through with your commitments, you begin to trust yourself more. That trust compounds. It becomes the foundation for setting and achieving larger goals. The person who consistently wakes up early is telling their mind, I follow through. I take myself seriously. This level of internal consistency breeds confidence, which in turn attracts greater opportunities and success. They move with. From a biological standpoint, the early morning hours tend to be the quietest and most undistracted part of the day. The mind is naturally more calm and focused after a night of rest. This makes it an ideal time to engage in purposeful activity. Reading, journaling, move with. Meditating, planning the day, exercising. Hill understood that these moments of quiet intention have a powerful impact on the mind. By beginning the day with clear purpose, you program your subconscious to stay aligned with your goals throughout the day. They move with. But developing the habit of waking up early requires more than just setting an alarm. It demands a shift in mindset. They move with. It requires a commitment to a higher standard for how one lives. They move. It involves creating a night routine that supports early rising, going to bed on time, avoiding stimulants. They move with, and ensuring that the body and mind are prepared for rest. The act of waking up early actually starts the night before. They move with. And those who take this seriously build a framework of consistency in their lives. They move with. Napoleon Hill also taught that self-discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Waking up early is a daily exercise in building that bridge. It's not a one-time decision. They move with. It's a repeated action that fortifies willpower and creates momentum. They move with. People who rise early often experience what is called a success loop. They wake up with time to focus. They use that time to plan and visualize their goals. They take purposeful actions during the day, and they go to bed feeling satisfied. They move with. That satisfaction encourages them to continue the habit, and the cycle repeats. This early morning discipline often spills over into other areas of life. A person who wakes up early is more likely to eat intentionally. They move with. Exercise regularly, and remain mentally organized throughout the day. They move with. There's a sense of control and clarity that comes from starting the day on your terms. They move with. Hill spoke often about the power of habits and how they shape destiny. Waking up early is one of the most powerful habits because it affects everything else. Furthermore, early rising has an energy of leadership to it. The world is asleep, yet you are up, working on yourself, your craft, your goals. This creates a feeling of being ahead. They move with. Of being proactive rather than reactive. That psychological edge is powerful. They move with. You're no longer just responding to the day's demands. You are directing them. And that, Napoleon Hill would argue, is exactly how successful people operate. They don't wait for life to happen to them. They move with. They make life happen by taking control of the first hours of their day, even when progress feels slow. Waking up early continues to feed the subconscious with the message that you are becoming someone different, someone driven, focused, and self-respecting. This repetition is what ultimately rewires the mind. As Hill taught, the subconscious mind responds to repetition and belief. Waking up early is a physical act that supports both. You repeat it daily, and in doing so, you build belief that you are capable of greatness. This habit also allows for time to connect with one's purpose. Many people live in a reactive state, constantly pulled in different directions. They move with. But in the quiet hours of the morning, there's a rare opportunity to reflect deeply on what truly matters. Napoleon Hill encouraged daily connection with one's definite major purpose. Doing this in the early morning, before emails, notifications, or external voices can interfere, amplifies its effect. That morning solitude becomes a sacred space for programming the mind for success. Moreover, they move with. Waking up early often reduces feelings of anxiety and overwhelm. When you begin your day ahead of schedule, you feel in control rather than rushed. They move with. This mental clarity allows for more thoughtful decisions and better time management. Hill often stressed that controlled, they move directed thought is one of the most powerful forces a person can develop. The habit of early rising is a practical step toward mastering that force. They move with. In a world full of distractions, the ability to rise early and maintain a routine becomes even more valuable. They move with. It's not about perfection. There will be days you slip, but about commitment. Waking up early is a declaration. They move with. You are not here to live by default. You are here to live by design. It's one of the few habits that doesn't require talent, money, or connections. They move with. All it requires is a decision and the discipline to follow through. And as Napoleon Hill so often reminded us, decisions backed by persistence and faith are what shape destinies. Waking up early is one such decision. It's a small hinge that can swing big doors. They move with. It's a seemingly simple habit that can lead to extraordinary transformation. Because when you take control of your mornings, you begin to take control of your life. Certainly. Here's the 1,000-word expansion of the second key note from the topic. Wake up early. Start your day right. Napoleon Hill. Mornings are the mind's prime time for thought. Written without headings, introductions, or conclusions as requesting. They move with. The early morning hours possess a kind of stillness and clarity that is difficult to replicate at any other time of the day. When the world around you is still asleep, there are no interruptions, no emails buzzing, no social media notifications, no conversations, and no traffic noise clouding your mind. In this peaceful silence, your mind is naturally more receptive, focused, and creative. They move with. Napoleon Hill often emphasized that the quality of your thinking determines the quality of your life. They move with. And there is no better time to think deliberately than in the early hours of the morning. When you wake up early, they move with. You access what he described as the prime mental real estate, a window in which your subconscious and conscious mind are most aligned. They move with, undistracted, and capable of receiving inspiration. This period is when the brain has just emerged from rest. They move with, yet it retains the mental softness that allows ideas to flow easily. Your subconscious has been working while you slept, processing problems, organizing thoughts, and even generating solutions. Upon waking, this bridge between the conscious and subconscious is still open. They move with, which means that your intuition is sharper and your thoughts are clearer. If you take advantage of this state by sitting quietly with a journal, planning your day, visualizing your goals, or reviewing your affirmations, you begin to shape your mindset in a powerful and constructive way. They move with. Hill believed that thought, when mixed with purpose and emotion, is the starting point of all achievement. They move with. Early morning is when you have the greatest chance of mixing thought with intention, undiluted by the day's chaos. They move with. Hill also taught that what you feed your mind in the first hours of the day has a compound effect. Move with. If you begin your day with negativity, reacting to news, emails, or social media, you're giving away your mental sovereignty to external forces. They move with. But if you start your day with self-reflection, focused reading, quiet contemplation, or goal alignment, they move with. You are training your mind to be proactive instead of reactive. A proactive mind has direction, clarity, and power. Move with. This is why Hill recommended beginning each day with definiteness of purpose, autosuggestion, and personal reflection. With. The goal is not to simply wake up early, but to use those early hours to cultivate thought patterns that are in harmony with your highest goals. They move with. The importance of early thought is deeply connected to the law of attraction and the power of autosuggestion, two of Hill's cornerstone teachings. They move with. When your thoughts are positive, specific, and emotionally charged, they move with. They impress upon the subconscious mind and begin to influence behavior and circumstances. They move with. The early morning offers the best environment to practice this mental programming. They move with. By repeating your affirmations or visualizing your goals first thing in the morning, they move with. You're impressing them on your mind when it's most open to suggestion. Over time, they move with. This practice rewires your thinking and reshapes your beliefs about what's possible. With. Another reason mornings are powerful is because your willpower and mental energy are highest. Just like muscles, with mental resources are finite and get fatigued throughout the day. Decision fatigue, distractions, they move with, and emotional stress reduce your capacity to think clearly and act decisively. They move with. That's why many high-performing individuals do their most important thinking or deep work early in the day. They move with. This was true not only for Hill but also for countless leaders, writers, move with, and thinkers across history who structured their day to protect the morning hours. When your brain is fresh and unburdened, you can work on meaningful tasks, solve problems creatively, and access new ideas that might not surface later in the day. They move with. There is also a psychological advantage to taking control of the morning. By choosing to wake up early and think intentionally, they move with. You send a message to your subconscious mind that you are in charge. They move with. This sense of agency builds confidence and establishes a foundation for the rest of the day. They move with. Instead of being pulled in multiple directions by external demands, you begin your day centered in your own priorities. They move with. It's not just about productivity. It's about building a life of intentionality, which is at the core of Hill's philosophy. They move with. To live deliberately, you must think deliberately, and the morning is the optimal time to do so. They move with. This quiet window is also the perfect time to align your daily actions with your long-term vision. They move with. Without alignment between your daily tasks and your higher purpose, you risk wasting time on activities that don't move you forward. They move with. Hill emphasized the power of definiteness of purpose, having a clearly defined goal and moving toward it with focused thought and consistent action. They move with. The morning provides a calm environment in which to reconnect with that purpose, refine your plan, and anticipate any obstacles that might arise. They move with. It's a time to mentally rehearse success before you step into the day's challenges. The quality of your morning thoughts also affects your emotional state. A person who starts the day with anxiety or chaos carries that energy forward. But someone who begins with clarity, gratitude, and positive expectation is much more likely to remain calm and focused. They move with. This doesn't mean life will go smoothly. It does mean you'll be better prepared to respond with intention rather than react impulsively. They move with. Napoleon Hill often stated that your mind is either your greatest servant or your most destructive master. The thoughts you feed it first thing in the morning play a huge role in determining which one it becomes. They move with. Mornings are also the perfect time to deepen your relationship with your inner self. They move with. Hill wrote extensively about the importance of connecting with infinite intelligence, the source of creative ideas and higher wisdom. They move with. Early mornings are an ideal time for prayer, meditation, or quiet listening, practices that help you access insights beyond your logical thinking. They move with. When you make space for this connection, you begin to live with more insight and less fear, more intention and less doubt. The silence of the morning becomes sacred, not just for productivity, but for spiritual clarity and emotional renewal. Incorporating early morning thought practices is not always easy, especially in a world that promotes late-night entertainment and digital stimulation. It takes time to adjust your sleep schedule, discipline to wake up when it's still dark, and commitment to use that time wisely. But for those who do, the rewards are profound. They become more centered, more creative, more in tune with their goals, and more grounded in their identity. This is what Napoleon Hill meant when he said that success begins with thought. He wasn't referring to random thoughts, but to structured, focused, and emotionally charged thinking. The kind that transforms potential into power. The morning is when that kind of thinking is most accessible. They move with. And it's a gift you give yourself every day you choose to rise early and reflect with purpose. Certainly. Here's a 1,000-word expansion of the third keynote from the topic. Wake up early. Start your day right. Napoleon Hill. Design your day before the world does. Written without headings, introductions, or conclusions. As requesting every day begins as a blank canvas. What ends up painted on that canvas depends largely on who picks up the brush first. Yourself, with conscious intention, or the world, with its noise, urgency, and demands. When you fail to design your day before it begins, they move with. You're more likely to spend your time reacting than acting, chasing rather than leading, surviving rather than progressing. They move with. Napoleon Hill emphasized the power of definiteness of purpose and controlled attention. They move with, both of which are most effectively exercised in the early morning when your environment and mind are still quiet. They move with. Waking up early gives you that crucial opportunity to consciously architect your day before external forces take control. They move with. The simple act of intentionally planning your day can shift everything. It puts you into a productive mindset, not just a productive one. They move with. Productivity often focuses on getting more things done. Proactivity focuses on getting the right things done. When you design your day with purpose, they move with. You create alignment between your actions and your highest goals. You stop letting the urgent overshadow the important. Move with. Hill taught that clarity of purpose, backed by a plan of action, was the foundation for all success. They move with. Designing your day before the world intervenes is how you operationalize that clarity into something tangible. They move with. Early morning planning is more than making a to-do list. They move with. It's about mentally rehearsing your day, seeing yourself move through it with focus and composure. They move with. It involves anticipating challenges and pre-deciding how you'll respond. It means asking yourself key questions. They move with. What is the one thing that will move me closer to my definite major purpose? What energy do I want to bring into my meetings, my relationships? They move with. My creative efforts. Who do I want to be today, and how will I embody that identity in my actions? They move with. This kind of mental pre-commitment makes your day intentional rather than accidental. It shapes how you show up, not just what you do. They move with. If you begin your day without this design, you become vulnerable to distraction. Notifications pull you one way. They move with. Unplanned conversations pull you another. Tasks that feel urgent, though they're not important, consume your time and dilute your focus. Hill warned against drifting, living reactively, passively, or without direction. Drifting is what happens when you allow the day to shape you. They move with, rather than you shaping it. But when you've taken just 15 to 30 minutes in the morning to set your focus and prioritize your values, you create a mental map. This map doesn't eliminate obstacles, but it gives you a compass to navigate them. There's also power in emotional priming. Designing your day isn't just logistical. It's emotional and energetic. They move with. How you feel when you begin your day determines how you'll respond to pressure and resistance. If you wake up anxious, unfocused, or already behind, they move with. Your energy will be frantic and scattered. But if you begin your day calmly, with clarity and purpose, your energy becomes magnetic and steady. They move with. Hill believed that emotion is a critical ingredient in the manifestation of desire. They move with. Designing your day means choosing how you want to feel before circumstances have a chance to decide for you. They move with. Another benefit of designing your day early is that it creates a sense of momentum. They move with. When you begin the day with small wins, whether it's journaling your goals, completing a focused work session, they move with, or even preparing a healthy breakfast, you build confidence. These wins reinforce your belief in your ability to direct your life. Confidence compounds. The discipline of designing your day is itself a statement to your subconscious mind. I am in charge. And that belief, consistently reinforced, becomes the foundation for larger achievements. They move with. Hill often spoke of autosuggestion and the importance of repeating affirmations to yourself with conviction. Planning your day is a form of applied autosuggestion. It aligns your actions with your identity and reinforces that you are a person who lives on purpose. Designing your day also allows you to respect your values. When you plan ahead, you can allocate time for what matters most: your health, your family. They move with. Your learning, your passions. If you don't claim time for these things early, the day will be filled with demands that leave you empty. They move with. Hill's philosophy was rooted in balancing financial success, meant little without harmony in your relationships, health, and character. They move with. When you design your day, you protect the space for these vital elements of a well-rounded life. You move closer to true success, not just external achievements. It's important to recognize that designing your day doesn't require perfection. Life is dynamic, and no plan survives contact with the real world unchanged. But even a flexible framework is more powerful than none. It gives you direction. They move with. Priorities and focus points. It allows you to adjust without losing your center. It helps you notice when you're being pulled off track and realign. They move with. Hill believed that persistence in the face of temporary defeat was a hallmark of successful people. They move with. Designing your day each morning helps you persist with purpose, even when the day doesn't unfold perfectly. They move. There's also a psychological relief that comes from planning. They move with. Much of stress arises from ambiguity, not knowing what's next or whether you're making the right choices. The move with. But when you've taken time to decide your top priorities and mentally walk through your day, you reduce decision fatigue. You move through the day with greater ease because many choices have already been made. You don't waste energy wondering what to do next. And that energy can now be used for creative thinking, deeper focus, and meaningful connection. Hill repeatedly emphasized economy of effort and the intelligent use of energy. Designing your day embodies both. On a deeper level, they move with. Designing your day is a declaration of ownership. It says that you are not a passive participant in life, but an active creator. It's an act of self-respect and self-leadership. You're no longer waiting for motivation or for conditions to be perfect. They move with. You're deciding what matters and then making time for it. They move with. This is exactly what separates the average from the exceptional. Those who wait for circumstances to dictate their actions move with, and those who create the circumstances they desire through daily discipline. Hill's message was always about empowerment through thought and action. And designing your day is where those two meet. In the stillness of the morning, before the noise sets in, before others need your time, they move with, and before the world starts knocking on your mental door, you have a sacred opportunity. They move with. You have a chance to shape the day instead of being shaped by it. And when you take that chance, consistently and deliberately, you do more than just increase your productivity. You begin to mold your life into a reflection of your values, goals, and vision. They move with. That's what real success looks like. That's the power of starting your day before the world has a chance to. They move with. The environment you immerse yourself in during the first hour of your day is the soil in which your thoughts, mood, and mindset take root. Move with. Whatever enters your mind during this delicate and impressionable time shapes your emotional tone and mental energy for the rest of the day. They move. Napoleon Hill emphasized the power of the mind to create reality. They move with, and what you feed it, especially in the morning, determines whether you begin your day with intention, confidence, and clarity, or fall prey to anxiety, distraction, and external influence. Guarding your morning environment is not just about what you avoid with, but about consciously curating what you allow into your world as you awaken. The mind is most suggestible during the first moments after waking. Move with. Your brain shifts from the theta state, associated with deep relaxation and subconscious processing, into the more alert alpha state. In this transition, your subconscious is still highly impressionable. It's during this fragile time that your mental filter is not fully active, which means the inputs you allow can bypass your critical thinking and go straight into your programming. This is why checking social media, emails, they move with, or news headlines first thing in the morning can be so damaging. It opens your mind to the agendas, opinions, they move with, and chaos of others before you've anchored yourself. Hill warned that without intentional thought control, you become a victim of uncontrolled external forces. Protecting your morning environment is your first line of defense against such influence. They move with. When you allow the noise of the world to flood your consciousness immediately upon waking, your mind shifts into reactive mode. You're no longer choosing your thoughts. You're reacting to whatever you just saw, read, or heard. A stressful message, a discouraging headline, they move with, or someone else's highlight reel on Instagram can instantly alter your internal state. Instead of calmly entering the day with focus and purpose, they move with. You are emotionally hijacked before you've even brushed your teeth. They move with. Hill stressed that definiteness of purpose requires you to command your thoughts and direct your mental focus. They move with. You can't do that if you hand over your attention to the world the moment your eyes open. Guarding your morning environment starts the night before. They move with. It begins with setting boundaries on what your morning will look like. If your phone is your alarm clock, they move with. Consider switching to a non-digital alarm so that you aren't tempted to scroll immediately. Set your space up so that your environment promotes stillness, clarity, and direction. This might mean leaving a journal by your bed. They move with. Placing a motivational book where you can see it, or even writing down your morning intentions before you sleep. They move with. When you design your physical and digital space to support mindfulness, it becomes easier to engage with your day intentionally. They move with. What you allow into your ears and eyes first thing influences your thoughts more than you realize. Hill believed in the power of autosuggestion, repeating ideas to yourself in a way that impresses them upon the subconscious. They move with. The opposite is also true. Negative or chaotic messages repeated enough times embed themselves in your mind. That's why listening to inspiring audio. They move. Reading a passage from a book that lifts your spirit, or even engaging in quiet reflection, is far more powerful than consuming media. They move with. The brain is still waking up. This is the ideal time to shape it with messages that support growth, purpose, and peace. Move with. Silence is also part of a guarded morning. Many people underestimate the power of quiet time in the early hours. In silence, you can hear your own thoughts without interference. You can examine your emotions, set your intentions. They move with, and connect with the deeper part of yourself that gets drowned out during the day. They move with. Hill spoke of the value of controlled attention, learning to discipline the mind to focus where you choose. The early morning, when the world is still asleep, offers a unique opportunity to practice this skill. By protecting this time from noise and distraction, they move with. You strengthen your ability to remain focused in all areas of life. Even the people you interact with in the morning matter. If you live with others, move with, especially in a busy household, your environment is shaped by their mood, energy, and routines. They move with. Guarding your morning doesn't always mean isolating yourself, but it does mean being intentional about the emotional atmosphere you cultivate. If possible, engage in positive conversations, express gratitude, or simply maintain a peaceful tone. Avoid arguments, complaints, or rushing. Chaos breeds more chaos. Peace creates room for clarity. When you begin your day in harmony with your environment, they move with. You carry that energy with you throughout the day. The food you consume, the air you breathe, move with. And even the lighting in your space influence your mental state. A dim, cluttered room can create lethargy and stress, while a clean, well-lit space can promote focus and energy. Take a few minutes to open a window, breathe fresh air, drink water, and bring light into your environment. They move with. These small, seemingly trivial acts have a compound effect on your mental clarity. They move with. Hill advocated for a holistic view of personal development, not just controlling thoughts, but also supporting the body and emotions. They move with. When your morning environment supports health, it reinforces your ability to think clearly and act decisively. They move with. Protecting your morning environment doesn't mean becoming rigid or overly perfectionistic. It's about creating a boundary, sacred space between sleep and full engagement with the world. It's about giving yourself the gift of time and space to ground yourself. This can take the form of meditation, prayer, writing, stretching. They move with, or simply sitting in silence with a cup of tea. The activity doesn't matter as much as the intention behind it. They move with. The goal is to anchor yourself in your values before the world challenges them, to root yourself in calm before chaos comes knocking. They move with. To remember who you are and what you want before the distractions begin. Over time, this habit builds an inner fortress. They move with. You become less affected by stressors, less thrown off by external noise. They move with. You develop what Hill would call personal initiative, the ability to move with purpose, not just react impulsively. This strength begins in the morning, and it begins with your environment. The world will always try to intrude. Notifications will buzz. they move with. Problems will arise. But when you've fortified your inner world first thing in the morning, you face these challenges with composure, clarity, and direction. Your morning environment is your training ground. They move with. It's the place where you rehearse self-mastery before the rest of the day demands it from you. It's where you prime your mindset, reset your emotions, and align with your deeper mission. They move with. You cannot expect to live with focus and intention if your day begins in distraction and reaction. They move with. Guarding your morning environment is not a luxury. It's a necessity for those who want to live deliberately. They move with. Napoleon Hill understood that success begins in the mind, and the mind is most open to influence at the start of the day. They move with. What you do with that window of time, and what you allow into it, determines the quality of your entire life.